Pain putters, here we are, the Sailor Moon Crystal, Season 1, Episode Tier List. Let's put in pain. Pain putters, here we are at the tier list. Just so you guys know, I freshly made this Season 1 Episode Tier List. So if you search Sailor Moon Crystal Season 1, you will be able to find this and make your own tier list, just in case you want to use it. Share it with friends. And if you make a video, definitely comment below and share it with me so I can watch it and see how you tiered each episode as well. I got all the episodes here, and I also have the opening music and the ending music. So starting off with the intro, Moon Parade. Yo, I can listen to those two words on repeat for an hour. No cap. This opening is so peak. It goes from intensity into some calm vibes with the little bass guitar that keeps it pumping. Back into the beat being all crazy again. On top of that, we got beautiful vocals. There's some crazy piano action that goes on as well. There's a lot of instrumental elements that goes on within this intro, but honestly, it's so fire. I gotta put it in S tier, setting the tone strong. So we have episode 1, act 1, Usagi, Sailor Moon. We start off with the epic shot of the galaxy, setting the stage for a crazy adventure. Then we cut to a man and a woman about to kiss, and for a second I'm like, what kind of love story are we getting into? Because I've always wanted to watch Sailor Moon. I saw it here and there when I was a kid, but I never really got into it. So getting into it, I did know there was some kind of romance involved, but I didn't think right away I was getting into some kissing action. It definitely blew me back a little bit. We quickly shift to Usagi Tuxedo, our main character, waking up from a dream. So the kiss was just her dreaming. She's late to school, and on the way out, her mom tells her she should be more like Sailor V, the heroine that popped up in the newspaper that morning. On her way to school, Usagi steps on a cat and it scratches her, but instead of freaking out, she gives it a kiss. More kissing. But this one's like a nice little calm kiss on the head. She's sorry to the cat. It's okay. But the cat runs off, and we get some weird vibes coming out of there. Fast forward to this evil, ominous looking place where a mysterious creature is created by this blonde dude who's on a mission to find something called the legendary silver crystal. Back at school, Usagi's getting scolded, scoring a 30 on a test. Her friends Naru and Umino are there. Umino's a weird nerd guy who always pops out of nowhere with some random ass information. And at lunch, one of Usagi's friends, Yumiko, mentions that a jewelry store in town was broken into. Umino drops the bomb, coming out of nowhere with some info that it's actually Sailor V who saved the day. Later in the day, Usagi and her friends visit Naru's mom's jewelry store, and things start to get a little suspicious. Naru's mom starts talking about needing young energy. It has a whole lot of bad vibes going on. It's like, yo, what is going on? Usagi, not having any money to join in on the sale, goes outside to just whatever she's doing outside. And as she's outside, she bumps into this guy in a suit. They share a little moment. You know the one where your eyes meet with someone and sparks just fly? One of those moments. A little bit after that, the guy whose name we find out is Mamaru looks into the jewelry store, suspecting they might have the legendary silver crystal. Usagi heads over to her local arcade where the cat from earlier appears again, and this time they have a stare down. Not the same kind of stare down Usagi and Mamaru had, but a different kind of stare down, like, yo cat, what are you doing? And the cat's looking at Luna like, hello? In the next scene, we see Naru's mom again, and she's literally sucking out the energy of everyone that bought jewelry at her store sale. After that, Usagi runs into the cat again, takes off a little bandage it had on its head, and it starts talking, telling Usagi that her name is Luna, and that also she's been chosen to save a princess, gather allies, and fight evil forces. She gives Usagi a brooch, and with a simple phrase, Moon Power Prism Makeup, Usagi transforms for the first time into Sailor Moon. Very epic, by the way. The transformation is just so beautiful every time you see it. I might say this multiple times, but let this be the first time and the most prominent time. Sailor Moon and Luna end up rushing into the jewelry store, where we find out that Naru's mom is actually a monster in disguise, and she turned everyone into zombie-like creatures, draining their energy. Sailor Moon, she's pretty scared at first, but then unleashes a powerful scream. It's not no regular scream. Her scream had power to it, which slowed down the zombies and the monster a little bit. And then the mysterious voice calls out her name. We find out that his name is Tuxedo Mask. Sailor Moon locks in after that and uses her Moon Tiara boomerang to destroy the monster in one hit. Very glorious. It looked very beautiful, by the way. I was a fan of the Moon Tiara. So episode 1 ends with Luna and Usagi back at school. Usagi's left wondering if everything that just happened is a dream or real. And let me tell you, this intro episode sets the stage for a wild ride. I really enjoyed this start to the show. Usagi's character is relatable, especially with her lazy high school vibes, scoring low on tests. I really related. I'm like, yo, I remember sleeping the first period, second period, third period I'm up. You know, there's some little baddies in there, but you know, whatever. Luna's introduction though was very unique. A talking cat, you don't see that all the time. Or maybe you do. In anime, animals talk all the time, but I like the way they did it in this one. Especially how the band-aid came off and she started talking. It was just like, all right, cool. I'm feeling this vibe. The episode really pulls you into wondering what's going to happen next. Usagi's transformation one more time. That was fire. The fight scene with Sailor Moon, it was pretty cool. And I gotta throw this in A tier. Episode 1. Getting into episode 2, act 2, Ami, Sailor Mercury. We start off with a view on Ami Mizuno, a genius who nails her tests with perfect scores, but she's all alone, sitting on a bench, overhearing guys talk about how she has no friends. Meanwhile, in the Dark Kingdom, the hideout where the villains reside. We saw it last episode when bro made the monster, the dude with the blonde hair. We're introduced to Queen Beryl, who's questioning Jadeite, that's his name by the way, blonde hair dude, on why he hasn't gotten the silver crystal yet. So what does he do? He makes another Yoma, the monster things, that's what they're called, Yomas, to get the silver crystal for him. At school, we learn that Ami isn't just a genius, she's also attending the exclusive Crystal Seminar Cram School. Only the richest and smartest students can attend, by the way. After school, Usagi spots Ami interacting with Luna. She walks over and invites her to the arcade. Ami crushes the Sailor V game, setting a new high score while Usagi struggles to even get past the first level. They bond over the game, both getting pens as a prize from the machine. Usagi hopes they can be friends, and Ami's feeling the vibe. She's like, Usagi, you're pretty cool, and she reciprocates the feeling. So the next day, Ami starts acting strange because she went to cram school and she got this disc, and she might have got brainwashed. She ends up chilling with Usagi and Luna and leaving behind the disc, and they discovered that there's a brainwashing message on it from the Dark Kingdom. So they head over to the Crystal Seminar School to stop the plan. Using the disguised pen she won from the machine, Usagi is able to transform into a doctor and sneaks into the school. The teacher of the cram school, who ends up being the Yoma, yokes up Ami and grabs her, and this causes Usagi to transform into Sailor Moon to fight the Yoma. But it looks kind of bad for Sailor Moon, I'm not gonna lie, until Ami breaks the brain control, breaks free from the Yoma's clutches, and transforms into Sailor Mercury. It's a movie, man. Together, Sailor Moon and Sailor Mercury, they defeat the Yoma, and the next day, Ami and Usagi walk home together as friends. I really appreciate this episode. It was nice to see Ami and Usagi's dynamic together. It's really sweet. Ami breaking the brainwashing to transform into Sailor Mercury. Mwah. Peak. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm gonna throw it in B tier. Episode 3, Act 3, Ray, Sailor Mars. So we kick off this episode in the Dark Kingdom with Jadeite getting a serious scolding from Queen Beryl for his failures 2 times now. Nephrite, another one of the proclaimed 4 kings of the Dark Kingdom, steps up, claiming that he could do better. They talk about the legendary silver crystal, the key to unlimited power, and Jadeite gets one last chance to retrieve it. At school, Usagi hears rumors about a cursed demon bus that makes people disappear. Later, Usagi and Ami, they head to the arcade, you know, the spot where Usagi gets distracted by the Sailor V game. Afterwards, they spot a girl named Ray, who they both think is so beautiful, on the bus home. Usagi's so infatuated with her that she follows her to the Hikawa shrine, only to get attacked by crows until Ray saves her, because she lives at the shrine. A little later, Ray is alerted her friend Mi has gone missing and is called strange by her mother. Her mother pressed her. She's like, yo, my daughter's missing, and I think that you have something to do with it, because you're weird, you're strange. Usagi ends up stepping up for Ray, defending her, and Ray opens up about how people have always misunderstood her and her powers. You know, she's able to look into fire, see visions, things of that nature. She's cool though, she's good vibes. Why do people misunderstand her? They just don't want to understand her. So Ray ends up having a vision of Usagi in danger, and when she races to help her out, she gets knocked out by a demon bus driver. It's crazy because Ray wanted to save Usagi, but now Usagi wants to save Ray, so she grabs onto the bus using her disguise pen to transform. Luna tries to follow but misses the jump and lands in Tuxedo Mask arms, because he's there to catch. Trust me, he will be there to catch. The bus teleports to inside the Dark Kingdom where Jadeite plans to trap the Sailor Guardians. Usagi and Ami, who was able to somehow teleport to where Usagi was, they transform into Sailor Moon and Sailor Mercury and face off with Jadeite, who's holding his own until Ray awakens and transforms into the fiery Sailor Mars. Together, Sailor Mars, Sailor Moon, and Sailor Mercury are able to defeat Jadeite. Back at the shrine, the hostages that were on the bus, they all wake up and Ray officially joins the team. The Guardians are one step closer to their mission at this point. I like this episode a lot. I really like Ray. She's so her. She's just so cool. She got aura. The swag so fire, literally, with the Sailor Mars transformation. Her introduction in totality was super dope, and the way Usagi stood up for her in a moment where she was being criticized by a grown woman, I felt that. I felt that right here. It was really nice to see. The idea of a demon bus taking people away to the Dark Kingdom, I feel like that was different. I don't normally see that type of story, that kind of concept in the things that I watch. So it was very unique to me. Seeing the Sailor Guardian group increase and fight together is also a plus. I'm throwing this episode in A tier. Episode 4, Act 4, Masquerade Dance Party. Luna investigates more about the Sailor Guardians and Mamaru Chiba. Mamaru's last name is Chiba, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but I'm saying it now. Mamaru Chiba. That's a pretty nice name. Luna is wondering if he's a friend, if he's an enemy. The next morning, Usagi's mom reads the newspaper finding Sailor Moon on the front page. How can she not tell that's her daughter? I don't know. Maybe because, you know, she transformed and she's wearing something different. But I'm pretty sure if I saw an article with my child, I don't got a child, but I'm just imagining, or let's say my girlfriend or my mom or my best friend, I'm gonna be like, bro, I know that person, but whatever. She also sees a report about Princess D, who's visiting Japan to showcase her national treasure. Usagi hears about Princess D's upcoming ball at the embassy. After school, Usagi heads to the Game Center Crown, the name of the arcade, by the way, for a Sailor Guardian meeting. Luna explains to Ami, Usagi, and Ray their mission to protect the princess and unlock their memories once all the Guardians are found. Over at the Dark Kingdom, Nephrite learns about Princess D's treasure and suspects it may be linked to the silver crystal. Queen Beryl orders him to go find it. At home, Usagi's dad is preparing for the embassy ball. This is the first time we've seen Daddy, by the way. Like, where did he even come from? I think this is the only episode we really see him in. Maybe he's in the last episode as well, but I don't really recall seeing him there. But he's a rare sight. What's good, Pops? Usagi uses her disguise pen to transform into a princess, and she attends the ball with Ami and Ray. Dream team. It's like, you know, when girls go to the prom with each other because maybe then they have a date or they just wasn't feeling anyone, or like, you know, the bros going to prom together, which, like, I don't know if bros really be doing that. If you're a guy and you went to prom with one of the bros, please let me know in the comments. I would never judge you. I'm just curious to know. Or if you know someone who did, you know, just on some bro shit, like, we gonna go together on some bro shit. We don't need girls. Like, we don't need a date. I find that empowering, and shout out to you. Or if that was you in your past. In the middle of the ball, Usagi's daydreaming and she spills a drink and goes to clean it up. Tuxedo Mask picks up her handkerchief because, of course, Tuxedo Mask is there. And they share a moment on the balcony until interrupted by Luna. Because Luna is like, why are you getting so close to my girl? Usagi is my girl. Who are you supposed to be? I really don't know if you're an enemy. Nephrite, who's disguised as the princess's attendant, possesses... Alright, so I need you guys to follow this real close. We're at the ball and Nephrite is there. He's disguised as the princess's attendant. He possesses the princess and escapes with the treasure. If that don't make sense, just run it back a couple times. You'll understand. He basically possessed the princess. I don't even know why I added the extra words. If my script writing needs help, then someone please help me. Usagi tries to stop her, falls off the balcony. But luckily, guess who? Tuxedo Mask is there to catch her. Usagi uses her disguise pen to float them down safely like she's Princess Peach. It's actually pretty dope. Sailor Moon fights Nephrite's shadow with her new tiara, which manifested from the embrace of Tuxedo Mask and its warmth. And she reflects the moonlight to use a moon tiara flash attack to defeat him. So now the 4 kings arrived. We heard about them a little bit earlier, and now all 4 of them are showing their faces. Jadeite, Nephrite, Zoisite, and Kunzite. And they let the Sailor Guardians know their plan to get the legendary crystal and make the world obey their leader before they disappear. They did it pretty swaggy too, so I was like, come on. You just got beat though, Nephrite. Like, come on, boy. At the end of the ball, Princess D reveals her treasure, and it's a diamond statue of herself, not the legendary silver crystal. Exhausted, Sailor Moon falls asleep. And this is very important. And I would like for everyone watching this video to let me know what you think of this scene. Let me repeat. Exhausted, Sailor Moon falls asleep and Tuxedo Mask kisses her. This was so insane to me because it's like, boy, that's your first kiss with her and she's asleep. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Luna luckily is there and she breaks it up and tells him to leave because she really wants to know if he's an enemy, if he's trying to get into Usagi's mind, like what is he up to? Why is he after the silver crystal? And Tuxedo Mask, he admits like, yeah, I'm after the legendary silver crystal. I am. This episode ends with the girl sensing an approaching storm, and it's kind of ironic because it's like, yeah, a storm is coming, man. We just got introduced to the 4 kings. Something is about to happen. With this episode, it really feels like things are picking up. We're getting into things. We don't get a new guardian to join the team, but we see Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask's relationship develop at a surprisingly fast pace. I mean, he kissed her while she was asleep, but he kissed her. Does that even count for real? Does that even count as the relationship advancing? I mean, on his part. Let's not think too deep though. The 4 kings showing themselves once again. That was swaggy. That was, ooh, it was iconic. I gotta throw this episode in A tier. Episode 5, Act 5, Makoto, Sailor Jupiter. This episode opens with Usagi nearly being hit by a speeding car, but she's saved by a mysterious girl. We then cut to the Dark Kingdom where Nephrite is planning to use love to gather energy for Queen Beryl. Ironic. They want to spread evil using the power of love. At school, Naru shares that her cousin is getting married in June, sparking Usagi's curiosity about brides and weddings. During lunch, Usagi meets the girl that saved her, Makoto Kino, who turns out to be a new transfer student. After a brief little conversation, they bond over food, which is relatable because imagine meeting someone and they offer you some good eats. It's like that person gotta be your friend at that point. Damn, I love people that eat good. I love good eats and I'm getting hungry, so let me stop talking about this. Makoto asks Usagi to show her around and receives visions of the Moon Kingdom. I haven't mentioned this, but whenever a future guardian has run into Usagi, they do get a quick vision of a palace. They never know what it's about though. Usagi and Makoto visit the arcade and Ami pulls up, noticing how easily Usagi is able to make friends. Motoki makes an appearance, telling them about a rumor about a haunted bridal shop. Another thing that I gotta mention, Motoki is an older dude that works in the arcade. He usually interacts with the crew whenever they happen to be there. Later, Ami, Usagi, and Makoto visit the bridal store and hear strange stories about a mannequin that comes to life at night, capturing and seducing grooms. Very scary stuff. That night, the mannequin is brought to life and targets Motoki, who becomes enchanted and begins searching for Makoto. Mamaru is sensing that something's off, but it's too late. So he transforms. He doesn't really transform. Or is it a transformation? I don't know. He is Tuxedo Mask now at night, and he pulls Usagi into the situation. Makoto's getting her energy drained by the possessed Motoki. As the Sailor Guardians arrive, they face off against Nephrite and the evil mannequin, but start losing. They start getting washed. We got 3 Sailor Guardians and they get washed. After Makoto has a flashback to her past heartbreak, she awakens her true power. With her new transformation into Sailor Jupiter, she uses a combination of flower and lightning attacks and defeats the Yoma, saving Motoki. In the aftermath of everything, Sailor Moon receives the Moon Stick, which holds great healing power. We will see in future episodes. This episode right here, I enjoyed it, man. Sailor Jupiter, Makoto, I like her character a lot. She's tough. She saved Usagi. Like, what more can you even ask for? She adds strength and heart to the team. You can just feel it. The bond between her and Usagi over the food, that felt so natural. And her transformation, ooh, the way she used flower and lightning powers, that shit was tough. I'm throwing this in B tier. Episode 6, Act 6, Tuxedo Mask. So Luna basically lets Sailor Moon know that you are the leader of the Sailor Guardians. You know, we got 4 members now. You're the leader, and your task is to protect the Silver Crystal and the Moon Princess. We skip to Mamaru, who's dreaming about the Silver Crystal, and he vows to find it. On the way to school, Usagi bumps into him, and Makoto teases her, while Ami notices that he's a student at Moto Azabu High. So he's a little older. We finding out more lore, a little bit about Tuxedo Mask, Mamaru, and we see in a news broadcast that the whole of Japan is talking about the Silver Crystal and Tuxedo Mask, who's making a name for himself, saying that he is committing crimes in order to obtain the crystal. He's hoping that his fame on TV will help him find it, which is a pretty good plan if you ask me, because getting famous can help you do a lot of things. Although, you know, it might be annoying when you step out and have paparazzi following you, but he doesn't have that. So, I mean, he's winning. He's winning on both sides, right? In the Dark Kingdom, Queen Beryl reminds her team that the Silver Crystal belongs to them, while Nephrite, injured, pleads for another chance. Zoisite promises to get both the crystal and the energy they need. It's his turn. At the arcade, Luna explains to the Sailor Guardians their mission, and Usagi notices the moon stick that she got in the Sailor V game that they always play while they're at the arcade, wondering if Sailor V could potentially be an ally. Zoisite appears on a TV show disguising himself as Dr. Isono and brainwashes viewers into searching for the Silver Crystal. Usagi even finds her mother hypnotized looking for it, and Luna calls the Guardians to meet up at the one and only spot where they can meet up, the arcade. At the arcade, Luna reveals the secret base beneath the Sailor V game. The Guardians trace the evil energy to the TV station. Luna accuses Tuxedo Mask of being involved, making Usagi question who he really is. Is he a good guy? I think I like him. I keep bumping into him. I think he's cute, but who is he really? I think he kissed me while I was sleeping. I don't know, maybe that was a dream. No, Usagi, he kissed you while you were sleeping. We saw it! So that boy Zoisite drains energy from TV screens. The Sailor Guardians confront him, but Zoisite retaliates. Usagi's feeling drained and ends up collapsing. But guess what? She is caught by Tuxedo Mask, who admits that he does need her help to find the Silver Crystal. As the battle with Zoisite continues, Queen Beryl makes a grand arrival and begins destroying the area. Tuxedo Mask urges Usagi to transform into Sailor Moon, revealing that he knows it's her. He knows. She does, and she uses Moon Healing Escalation to attack Queen Beryl, but Zoisite shields her, taking a full blast. Beryl retreats with Zoisite, and Sailor Moon heals the brainwashed people. Exhausted from all the events, Sailor Moon ends up collapsing, and Tuxedo Mask's pocket watch falls into her lap. They're secretly watched by a girl that looks like Sailor V, and also a white cat. Usagi dreams of a mysterious man and wakes up to find herself in a strange room, realizing that Mamaru is Tuxedo Mask. Mamaru brought her over to his crib, by the way, while she was passed out. No objection by the Sailor Guardians, I guess. I guess he just snuck off with her. Some things in the show, just gotta roll with it. Just roll with it. That being said, I did really enjoy this episode. Everything that went on, Beryl making her appearance in front of the Guardians was truly epic. Seeing the arcade hideout for the first time was a big revelation. That was pretty fire. They have an insane hideout, man. It's fire. It looks cool. Moon Healing Escalation! First time seeing it, and it was fire. I need other words to use to describe shit than fire, but just understand, it was dope. Oh my god. All I have is fire and dope, man. Like, yo, what? The episode ends with Usagi and Mamoru's house. Like, yeah, this one is an A tier, man. What's about to go on? Episode 7, Act 7, Mamoru Chiba, Tuxedo Mask. Usagi wakes up in Mamoru's apartment and discovers his Tuxedo Mask persona after seeing his mask and cape on the couch. Mamaru explains that he lost his memories in a car accident at 6, which killed his parents. He's been having recurring dreams of a woman urging him to find the Silver Crystal to restore his memories, leading him to adopt the Tuxedo Mask persona. It's his own little transformation, even though it's not a transformation. I guess he just puts on a cape and a mask, and then he's Tuxedo Mask, and he can jump around and he can do shit. During their time together, Usagi finds herself catching feelings. Listen, boys, the key to finding a girl and making her fall in love with you isn't taking her passed out body to your home. I promise it's not. Meanwhile, Queen Beryl, suspecting Sailor Moon might be key to finding the Silver Crystal, uses human energy to revive Queen Metalia. She explains how she released Metalia from the ruins of the Dark Kingdom. However, she secretly wants the crystal for herself, so she orders Zoisite to go find Sailor Moon. Zoisite sells brainwashing CDs at a rental shop to manipulate people into searching for Sailor Moon. Usagi notices strange behavior in her class, and when she and Ami tries one of the CDs at the arcade, it malfunctions. That night, brainwashed people flood the streets, and Usagi uses Moon Healing Escalation to heal them. It's like, what's the point of even brainwashing if Usagi can just just heal them just like that. But I guess it doesn't matter because, you know, they're really just minions to find the crystal. Afterwards, Zoisite captures Sailor Moon and easily defeats the Guardians and Tuxedo Mask, demanding information about the silver crystal. When she has no answers, Zoisite attempts to kill her with a large crystal. Just as he's about to strike, a boomerang destroys the crystal. It then reappears, striking and wounding Zoisite. The boomerang is revealed to belong to the one and only Sailor V, with the white cat by her side. Good old episode 7, man. One thing I gotta say is that the four kings sure know how to scheme up a plan. They're basically like Ed, Ed, and Eddie if they had another fourth guy that was called like Edward or something. Ed, Ed, Eddie, and Edward, the four kings. Brainwash using CDs. Brainwash using jewelry. Brainwash. This episode felt pretty quick, with the biggest thing besides Usagi and Mamo's relationship developments being Sailor V's arrival. I could throw this an A, but it feels more so like a B. It feels more so like it fits in with here. Episode 8, Act 8, Minako, Sailor V. First things first, we are halfway through this season. If you made it this far, please hit that like button. It's free. Hit that sub button. That's free. I really appreciate you. Talk to me in the comments. Let me know what episode was your favorite. Let me know what you think about the episodes. Let me know what you guys think about all the episodes so far. We jump right in where we left off with Sailor V saving the day. Technically it's night. The white cat she's with, whose name is Artemis, reveals that she is actually the moon princess, Princess Serenity. Also, an injured Zoisite retreats while he still can, running off to his mommy Beryl. Sailor V thanks Sailor Moon for her hard work and reveals that she and Artemis had been fighting the Dark Kingdom for a long time. She explains that the Dark Kingdom caused the fall of the Moon Kingdom. Sailor V transforms into her civilian form, Minako Aino, and shares her story. She tells the group that the other Sailor Guardians will remember their past lives soon. Artemis tries to get her to join the group, but she declines, saying like she got some shit to do by herself on her own. Later, Usagi dreams of a man calling her Serenity. She meets Mamaru at the park where they discuss crystals, and he apologizes for not protecting her. Usagi tries to give him his watch, but he declines it because he's like, yo, I got something of yours. I'll give it back later so we can trade later. You know, he flirting. He low-key flirting. Come on, we see you, boy. We know what you did. Luna realizes that Usagi caught feelings for Mamaru and meets Artemis, who reveals that a part of her memory was sealed. Meanwhile, Queen Beryl informs Queen Metalia that the Moon Princess has arrived and Kunzite is sent to find her. It's his turn now. Minako's walking through the street and she telepathically hears Kunzite. He tells her to meet him at the top of Tokyo Tower with the silver crystal, or else death will fall upon the citizens of Tokyo. Kunzite causes a blackout in the city and begins draining people's energy. Mamaru dreams of a woman calling him Endymion and wakes up to see darkness engulfing the city. At Tokyo Tower, Sailor V faces Kunzite, but her attacks prove ineffective. The Sailor Guardians join, but Kunzite overwhelms them. Sailor Moon tries to attack, but Kunzite blasts her. However, Tuxedo Mask is there, and guess what? He catches her. Why did I just laugh like that? I'm so sorry. And in response, Sailor Moon thanks him with a kiss. This time, she's awake. As Kunzite readies his attack on the Sailor Guardians, Sailor Moon shields them, but Tuxedo Mask shields her. He jumps in front of her, who she jumped in front of them, and yeah, whatever. He takes the hit. Man, so this episode was a big lore dump episode. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of chill. I made it sound more exciting than it was, or maybe I just sound manic and I didn't make it sound exciting at all. I just like, whatever the case may be. Besides the fight at the end, it was a pretty calm episode. Fight at the end did get kind of intense when Tuxedo Mask jumped in front of Usagi, who jumped in front of the Sailor Guardians to protect her friends. But overall, this episode was kind of mid, so I'm throwing in a C. Episode 9, Act 9, Serenity, Princess. An injured and unconscious Tuxedo Mask sees a long-haired princess calling out to him over an image of Sailor Moon. He recalls that the same princess once called him Endymion, revealing he was once the Prince of Earth in a past life, reborn now as Mamaru Chiba. He calls Sailor Moon Serenity before losing consciousness. Sailor Moon's grief shatters her tiara, which is replaced by a glowing crescent moon symbol that transforms her into Princess Princess Serenity. Meanwhile, Sailor V's moon symbol changes to Venus, and she becomes Sailor Venus, leaving everyone in shock. Everyone is shocked. I'm shocked. Were you shocked? Everyone was just shocked. Mamoru's pocket watch winds backwards as Serenity begins to recall her tragic past. She remembers breaking the law by traveling to Earth to meet Endymion, the Prince of Earth, and how they fell in love. On the battlefield on the moon, Endymion sacrificed himself to protect her. Remembering her past life, a tear falls and transforms into the legendary Silver Crystal. Queen Metalia and Queen Beryl sense the crystal's energy, and a small part of it enters Tuxedo Mask's body. Beryl orders Kunzite to attack Serenity, but the Sailor Guardians protect her. Kunzite then abducts Tuxedo Mask and disappears as Serenity cries out. It's getting really real, by the way, guys. If you didn't know that, I promise you, it's getting real. But let me tell you one thing. The power is back in Tokyo, and now we're in the base. Sailor Venus comforts Serenity. Don't get lost, by the way, guys. The names are going to start getting crazy. I'm going to start using names here and there. Serenity, Usagi, Sailor Moon, Tuxedo Mask, Endymion, Mamaru. But just know, there's Usagi, there's Mamaru, aka Mamo. That's Usagi's little pet name for him. We good? Are we good? So yeah, Venus and Artemis further explains the past of Earth and the moon. By the end of the conversation, in the hideout, Usagi passes out because it's just way too much going on. And now that I'm thinking about it, Usagi passes out a lot. It's kind of crazy. She might have to get checked out. Meanwhile, in the Dark Kingdom, Kunzite and the other four kings realize that they had known their prisoner from a long time ago. Kunzite is disturbed when he remembers the name Endymion, but he shakes it off and dismisses it. Usagi wakes from a nightmare of Tuxedo Mask's death. Her friends visit her, noting that her hair has grown long. It's a sign of Serenity's awakening. Through everything happening, she feels like she's losing her identity as Usagi, and she starts breaking down when remembering Mamaru. She's comforted by her friends, and Luna announces to everyone in the room they'll be going to the moon for more answers about the Dark Kingdom, the Silver Crystal, and their past lives. Yo, like I said, things start getting real. Precious episode 9. This makes up for the last episode that I threw in C. So much went on. The revelations kept me so engaged. The whole Princess Serenity transformation, because Usagi went through a transformation that was visually just crazy. It looked very cool. The lore behind her and Endymion, the legendary crystal, all of this happening, man. Whew, legendary crystal really appeared from her. She had it the whole time. Mamo got kidnapped. This show was all peak, and it was all packed into this episode. And we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon, baby. We're going to the moon. I also felt for Usagi when she said she was losing her identity, because all of this was happening fast. So you can really relate. Like, we're seeing this happen fast. She's feeling it happen fast. And I'm throwing this in S tier, baby, because this was a heater. Episode 10, Act 10, Moon. Let me tell you guys, it's all downhill from here, and I do not say that in a bad way. I say that in the best way possible, because things start getting fast, the actions start getting crazy, a lot of things happen. So in this episode, Usagi's father gives her the silver crystal, which she requested to be turned into a necklace. So actually, we do see Pops again in this episode. I forgot, but yeah, he is in this episode. When the full moon finally arrives, Sailor Guardians transform into their guardian forms, and they teleport to the moon by combining their powers. How did they do that? You know, they can do a lot of shit, apparently. When they land, the moon is dark, cold, and silent, and they discover the remains of the Moon Palace, now turned to stone. The Sailor Guardians approach the Crystal Tower, and they find a sword embedded in a pedestal. After a bit of a struggle, Sailor V is able to pull it out. A hologram of Queen Serenity, Usagi's mother in her past life, appears, explaining that the sword was meant for the 4 inner Sailor Guardians. She greets Sailor Moon, calling her Serenity, and shares the story of their past lives, the destruction of the Moon Kingdom, and the deaths of Prince Endymion and Princess Serenity. Before dying, Queen Serenity was able to seal away the evil and caused everyone to be reborn. She lets Sailor Moon know that Mamaru is still alive and urges them to destroy the evil once and for all. In the Dark Kingdom, the 4 kings overhear Queen Beryl talking to Queen Metalia. Queen Metalia is concerned about the 4 kings' memories awakening. Oh, and they do, by the way. The 4 men remembered they were once Prince Endymion's 4 knights. You know, the way Sailor Moon has 4 guardians? Yeah, these guys were Endymion's knights, and they regret serving the Dark Kingdom. But Queen Beryl uses her mind control, which is ultra powerful, to control them yet again. Back on Earth, the Sailor Guardians are in the secret base when red signals appear on the computers. They discover that the four kings have frozen nearly the entire planet, including Tokyo. The kings confront the Sailor Guardians. Sailor Venus reveals their past love for the four kings, because guys, this is a huge love story. Don't you ever forget that. But the kings still attack. They don't care. They're brainwashed. Sailor Moon flies into space and uses moon healing escalation to melt the ice. The Sailor Guardians then use Sailor Planet attack, which was a nice sight to see, causing their four brainwashed past lovers to retreat. Queen Beryl resurrects Prince Endymion, now under her mind control. She's brainwashing him as well, and orders him to kill Princess Serenity and steal the silver crystal. The final scene shows Endymion walking down the streets of Tokyo in his school uniform, looking like Mamaru. Yeah, we've been getting big lore really fast, and that's one thing about this show. Sailor Moon Crystal, things happen fast. I've learned from some of my knowledgeable pain putters that this is the version of Sailor Moon that gets straight to the point, and that's what we do here. Most of these episodes are structured the same way. If you haven't realized by now, we get some lore, then we get a confrontation, but for some reason I feel like it doesn't get too stale because there's always something different going on. We had a big face off in this one. It was really exciting. I'm throwing it in there. Episode 11, Act 11, Reunion, Endymion. Usagi dreams of herself as Princess Serenity in the Moon Palace ruins, where she sees Tuxedo Mask, who immediately runs away. Luna wakes her up, and she takes the silver crystal with her as she goes out. On the way, she bumps into someone, and Mamaru's pocket watch falls out. Usagi is surprised to see it working again, and is shocked to find that the man resembles Mamaru. Motoki arrives at the game center with his friend Endo to find the same man, who is revealed to actually be a brainwashed Endymion. Yes, we know. Endymion, Mamaru, guys, I'm gonna be going back and forth, by the way. Endymion uses his power to hypnotize Motoki and Endo, making Endo forget why he was there in the first place and having Motoki believe that he is Endo. Sounds complicated, but the Dark Kingdom schemes are never to be underestimated. Don't forget it. Motoki's girlfriend Rika arrives and notices him with Endymion. She accidentally drops a book on crystals, which Endymion recognizes, seeing crystals on the cover: jadeite, nephrite, zoisite, and kunzite. What are the odds? Meanwhile, the Sailor Guardians gather at Ami's apartment to study the sword they obtained from the moon. Ami gives Minako a diamond ring, and Minako accidentally shatters it with the sword. Usagi visits the game center and sees Endymion playing the Sailor V game with Motoki. Motoki introduces him as his friend Endo, and Usagi is shocked by the resemblance to Mamaru, except for his eyes, which are red. Luna follows Usagi and alerts the other Sailor Guardians. They go to investigate. The Guardians end up speaking with Rika, who mentions the Endo that Motoki has been hanging out with isn't the same one that she remembers. This helps confirm to the girls that this Endo is evil. Later in the night, Makoto confronts Endymion and Motoki. She calls the Sailor Guardians to the command center, warning that Endo can't be trusted. Suddenly, alarms go off as the intruder enters the control room. Makoto tries to take the silver crystal from Usagi, but is stopped by Rei, who realizes that she's been hypnotized. The intruders turn out to be Tuxedo Mask and a hypnotized Motoki. Minako transforms into Sailor Venus and stops Motoki from stealing the silver crystal with her Venus Love Me chain attack, and Tuxedo Mask uses his powers to steal the silver crystal. Usagi hesitates because she don't really want to fight him, but Luna is hurt in the process, making her realize that Tuxedo Mask, this one, is not the man that she loves. The silver crystal reacts to Usagi's anger and she transforms. Usagi uses moon healing escalation to heal her friends, but fails to heal Tuxedo Mask. Queen Beryl then appears behind him, introducing herself as the mistress of the Dark Kingdom. With the silver crystal in her possession, she orders Endymion to kill Princess Serenity. Alright, to be completely honest, I was getting so tongue twisted with all the M names. We got Motoki, we got Minako, we got Makoto. But yo, the thing about this episode, you really can't think too deep. There's so many inconsistencies. Obviously, the dude that looks like Endymion, Mamo, Tuxedo Mask, whatever name you want to call him, was him all along. Like, why was that ever a mystery? Then he hypnotized Motoki and the friend whose identity he stole. But when Motoki's girlfriend, who would obviously know who his best friend is, pulls up to the arcade, he doesn't hypnotize her. Like, what kind of thinking is that? I just don't understand. Also, despite the girls knowing that this version of Mamaru is evil, Makoto still confronts him alone just to get herself hypnotized. Why would she even put herself in that situation is very questionable. The whole whole episode is a mess. The confrontation at the end kind of just felt like a setup and lead up into the next episode. I'm gonna put this one in C. Episode 12, Act 12, Enemy, Queen Metalia. Queen Beryl claims that the real Tuxedo Mask died, but was resurrected by Queen Metalia as an agent of the Dark Kingdom. She and Endymion attack the Sailor Guardians, causing the command center to collapse. Sailor Mercury teleports them to a new location using her powers. When did she learn to do that? I have no idea. How do the Guardians access their powers? Is it like a Pokemon battle screen in their brain and they just select which move they want to use, channel some type of energy, and then pew, they do it? I don't know, but the teleportation was cool. I like that. I like seeing the Guardians do different things. I'm not complaining. Or was I? Beryl attacks the crew with her red hair holding the girls down and speaks of her plans to use the silver crystal to rule with Endymion. Sailor Venus recalls that Beryl killed Prince Endymion after being, guess what? Brainwashed. She summons the legendary sword, but it can't break Beryl's barrier. Endymion starts to react to the silver crystal. Sailor Moon calls his name and to return to his true self, but it don't work. Sailor Mercury discovers Beryl's power came from her necklace, and Sailor Moon destroys it with the legendary sword empowered by the crystal, killing Beryl. Before dying, Beryl confesses her love for Endymion, and we get a lore flash of how she was in love with him. Endymion attacks Sailor Moon, steals the sword, and escapes through a portal. Sailor Moon follows, but the Sailor Guardians cannot catch up. Luna and the Guardians discover the portal leads to the Dark Kingdom's base in the North Pole. They teleport there and face off with the Four Kings. Sailor Moon is confronted by Endymion and Metalia. He demands the silver crystal because whatever he has doesn't grant him the true power that he hopes for. The Sailor Guardians fight their past lovers and they're able to restore their memories, but as soon as that happens, Metalia finishes them off in an instant. Sailor Moon is injured after being continuously attacked by Endymion. Luna contacts her, telling her that Endymion is powered up because he has a piece of the silver crystal within him. But to seal Metalia, they need the silver crystal in its complete form. Sailor Moon tries to heal him with moon healing escalation, but to no avail. She realizes the only way she can attain the last fragment would be to kill Endymion. The conflict in her heart causes the silver crystal to react. Sailor Moon picks up the legendary sword and charges at Endymion. The other Sailor Guardians arrive to save her. She slashes him with the sword across the body, kisses him, takes the sword, and stabs herself. Man, oh man, episode 12, my favorite episode this season. I think you can guess where I'm putting this. It's just so peak from beginning to end. Not gonna get too deep. If you don't understand why I'm putting this right here, then you guys just gotta rewind and listen again. I'll be so truthful with you. This episode had my jaw drop, man. Easy yes, easy yes. Episode 13, Act 13, Final Battle, Reincarnation. Usagi and Mamaru lie on the ground as the Guardians approach. A bright light starts shining. The part of the silver crystal within Mamaru reunites with the crystal, unleashing its full power and enveloping both him and Sailor Moon. Queen Metalia absorbs the crystal alongside Usagi and Mamo, growing stronger. Luna and Artemis appear. Luna tries to stop the absorption. I have no idea what she was thinking. You're a cat, Luna. Come on. Metalia's power easily knocks her away. Metalia is able to break free from her seal and ascend into the sky. The Sailor Guardians, now on Earth's surface, attack Metalia with their solar planet attack. But despite how epic it looks, it has no effect. Metalia blasts them to the ground and covers the Earth with her dark power. On the moon, where Luna and Artemis had teleported away to, Luna prays for Queen Serenity's guidance as people on Earth begin to turn evil. This is the pinnacle of brainwashing. As the Sailor Guardians struggle, they recall how Usagi has always been there for them, which gives them a second win. Sailor Venus wields the holy sword and the girls channel their life power, risking their lives. They use a beam attack, but Metalia is just too strong and blasts them back again. It's kind of like, imagine like 10,000 ants try to fight you. And it's like, wow, you know each ant has heart and has individuality. Or do ants have individuality? Or are they just like hive mind? I actually don't know. But yeah, they try to fight you and then you just stomp on all of them at the same time. Inside Metalia, Sailor Moon awakens, realizing Mamaru's pocket watch had stopped her attempt at striking herself down. She's able to use the silver crystal's power to escape Metalia's grasp. Mamo is also free from being brainwashed, and he protects Sailor Moon from an attack that Metalia sends their way. He urges Usagi to use the silver crystal to defeat Metalia. 4 colored stones fall from Mamaru's hand, revealing Kunzite's spirit, who explains that Metalia's core weakness is the symbol on her forehead. The spirits of the 4 kings appear and thank their past life master Endymion before vanishing. He comes to the realization that the stones had caught the sword, saving his life when Sailor Moon had struck him. Sailor Moon in the struggle with Metalia is blown back, but guess what? She gets caught by Mamaru, who encourages her to push forward, and they kiss. At this point, Usagi acknowledges her true strength and destiny as Sailor Moon. The silver crystal transforms, her moon stick grows, and the silver crystal attaches to it. With newfound resolve, Sailor Moon vows to seal Metalia away forever. 2 back-to-back bangers, man. This episode keeps the same energy as the last in terms of keeping the stakes high. In fact, they might even be higher. Now that Metalia was able to cut loose from being sealed and using her infinite Tsukiyomi, I'm sorry, that's the wrong show, but she definitely spread that darkness. Seeing the Guardians put their absolute faith in Usagi after reminiscing on how she impacted them positively was touching. And of course, seeing Usagi, Serenity, Sailor Moon, and Mamaru and Endymion Tuxedo Mask, their relationship continue to grow is beautiful. When Sailor Moon starts using the power of the crystal at the end of the episode, is so hype, man. We got 2 back-to-back S tier. Let's go. Episode 14, Act 14, Conclusion and Commencement. Petite Étrangère. Guys, if you understand how many times I said the title of this episode, you'd be like, wow, I should really drop a like on this video. I should spam comment this video so that it gets pushed into the algorithm crazy. So that it's this guy's biggest video ever. And hopefully his channel will receive blessings. Anyway, Sailor Moon directs the silver crystal's power into Queen Metalia's forehead, but it has no effect. Realizing that the power of the crystal depends on the strength and belief in her heart, Sailor Moon prays with Mamaru's encouragement. As she prays to the crystal tower, the fallen Sailor Guardians' transformation pens transfer their powers to the holy sword, sending a beam of moonlight to the moon crystal tower. Luna, seeing the tower glow, joins in the prayer, and the moon shines with incredible brilliance. The combined prayers of Sailor Moon, Luna, and the Guardians amplify the crystal's power, allowing Sailor Moon to direct it at Metalia's weak point. The powerful attack destroys Metalia, but Sailor Moon's transformation brooch shatters from the strain, and Usagi collapses yet again. On the moon, Artemis sees Luna briefly in human form. May I repeat, Luna in human form. As the moon castle is restored, back on Earth, Usagi wakes up to Mamaru's comforting embrace. Did he or did he not kiss her while she was sleeping again? I will leave this up for you guys to debate in the comments. If you know, you know. If whatever it is, just let me know. He shows her visions of the desolate earth and her fallen friends. Don't know exactly where this power came from, but it's pretty fire. And if I had it, I would use it a lot too. Maybe that's how he was always able to catch his baby girl just in time. What Usagi sees causes her to cry, but Luna contacts her and they teleport to the moon using the moon stick. In the moon castle, Luna tells Usagi she is meant to be the new queen, but Usagi refuses, choosing to stay with her loved ones on Earth. Queen Serenity's hologram appears again, and she tells Usagi that she understands her decision and to be happy, blessing her with a new transformation brooch before disappearing. How do I say this word? Is it brooch? Is it brooch? I'm very curious. So now Usagi has a new transformation, and she transforms, and she's stronger, and she uses moon healing escalation to heal the people of Earth as well as her friends. The Sailor Guardians are revived, and the 5 of them embrace, crying in happiness. Peace is restored to Earth and the moon. Everyone returns to their lives. Afterward, we cut to Rei meditating, and she sees a vision of a black crescent upside down moon. Have no idea what that is, but it's hype. Usagi meets Mamaru in the park and returns his fixed pocket watch, and he returns her handkerchief he was holding on to. They share a little romantic moment. Then out of nowhere, a small pink-haired girl suddenly falls from the sky, accidentally kissing Mamo on her way down. She introduces herself as Usagi and demands the silver crystal, threatening our Usagi with the gun. Episode 14, and I gotta preface this by letting anyone who's never seen one of my tier list videos know I do rate opening and closing episodes a bit different. There's certain qualities in each that I enjoy seeing, and for the final episode of season 1 of Sailor Moon Crystal, I want to say everything, almost everything, was done very beautifully. The one issue I do have with the episode and throughout the season generally are the confrontations and how easy they feel sometimes. Natalia had some moments flexing her power and even was able to envelop the world in darkness, which did raise the stakes, but it never really felt like she was gonna win. It always felt like Usagi was gonna power up or something, and that she did. She blasted Natalia away in one blow, no real pushback or technicalities. That being said, I don't think that the fights on this show are the high point, so I can see how, if that's what you're expecting, you want more action, you can be disappointed. They show more of that love and friendship vibe. If you like that, if you like to be cozy, if you like happy vibes with some romance and some sadness, this is the show for you. I will let you know. This season 1, you'll enjoy it a lot. And we get a lot of that in this episode. Usagi and Mamoru's relationship comes to fruition. Usagi saves her friends. They all have a sweet moment. They come together. They save the earth. Usagi decides to stay on the earth with her friends, with her lover. Nah, the vibes are high. Trust me. Another thing that I really enjoyed, which goes back to what I like to see in season finales, are the setups. Who the hell did Ray see in the fire? Who is this pink-haired girl? And why did she have a whole blammy? I'm talking about, boy, it just looked so out of place, and how it happened, it just dropped my jaw. I'm like, what? Literally, it was so nuts. This episode definitely leaves me hyped for the next season, and it's one of those things where I'm glad I don't have to wait, because if I had to wait, I'd be so sick. I'd be so sick if I had to wait for season 2 of Sailor Moon Crystal. If you ain't get the vibes, man, I'm throwing this in S tier. It's the first time I ever had a triple S tier, man, and shoot, it's worth it. Episodes 12, 13, and 14, what a trifecta. It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. By the way, Pain Putters, if you've never seen any of my other tier lists, please go check them out. I did one on Tokyo Ghoul and one on Down to Down. If you enjoy those shows, man, check them out. Even if you've never seen them, I explain them, man. I run through the summaries the same way I did it this way. We got one more thing to talk about, though, and that is the ending music, the outro music. Sweet vibes here. I love the groove of the instrumental, and the vocals sound so perfect. The way that they're layered, they're chorus, they sound powerful. These are the type of outro vibes that feel so good. You can listen on your own, outside in the sun. They just are cozy vibes. I'm throwing the outro in A. Sailor Moon Crystal Season 1. Let me know what you guys think about my tier list. If you made it this far, I super appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button if you new. Comment what you thought. Let me know what episodes you thought were S tier. I appreciate y'all. Season 2 is on the way. Can we get 50 likes? I know a decent amount of you guys like Sailor Moon. It's actually been my biggest show on the channel so far. So 50 likes, man, would be appreciated. Pain Putters, I will see you. Sailor Moon Crystal Season 2. Let's keep putting in pain.